And welcome to the ArtsyFartzy Club. My name is Mrs. Johnson, and I'm so happy that you are here with me today. All right, we're going to make this a short one today because I am taking child number 2 out of 4 to a volunteer opportunity at the Suncoast Animal Rescue. They're bringing in a rescue, and he pen sits, and we help wash the dogs and make sure they get their initial evaluations and any treatments that they need before they go into their foster homes. So I'm excited to do that and help him out with his community service time. But I wanted to get this lesson out today because we weren't able to see each other last week with the internet issues that we had. So let's get into this. I am so excited. Okay. Now, warning. Warning, warning. Warning. There we go. Warning. This lesson does have references to Christian traditions. So if that's not your bag, then this is not the lesson for you. But we're not going to weigh in too heavily into it, but it is a part of what this artwork is about, what this celebration is about. And I'm just giving you that proviso before we get into this lesson. It can be taught in a very respectful manner, and I hope that we do so. Here we go. Okay, now let's get into it. Okay, so Mardi Gras, I'm going to give you a little video on Mardi Gras, but Mardi Gras actually started as a Christian tradition. And so a lot of times people just go into it because it seems like it would be fun, right? It's a party, it's a big party. But why did this party start? What is the point of having this tradition? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and dive in, and then I will, I'm going to share this YouTube video with you, and then I will catch you on the flip side. Okay, so let's share. Oh, I can hear my animals are, share screen, people. Share screen, Mrs. Johnson. Share our screen. Make it big. All right, my dears. I will see you on the flip side.
When is Mardi Gras? Find Easter Sunday on the calendar and count back 46 days to find the answer. That's because Mardi Gras shares a history with the Christian observance of Easter and Lent. Lent is the time between Mardi Gras and Easter when many Christians give up meat, sweets, or something else special as a reminder of their promises to God. Long ago, on the Tuesday before Lent, medieval Christians would eat all of their leftover meat, eggs, cheese, and milk in less than 24 hours, so they wouldn't spoil before they could eat those foods again. Hence the name Fat Tuesday, the English translation of Mardi Gras from French. Now, every year, thousands of people gather to parade in the streets and celebrate Mardi Gras, also called Carnival. It is a festival of costumes, music, and dance especially popular in New Orleans, Louisiana, but celebrated in other places too, like Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, and Montreal, Canada. People take to the streets riding on giant floats while wearing dazzling costumes in the traditional Mardi Gras colors: green for faith, purple for justice, and gold for power. Beaded necklaces are thrown to bystanders. Music fills the streets, and everybody has a good time. It's a special time for families to get together while enjoying the parades. Schools are even closed in New Orleans during Mardi Gras because so many kids play in marching bands. What costume would you wear in a Mardi Gras parade?
Now, welcome back. All right, what'd you think of that? So, it did mention that Christians used to do this before the celebration of Lent, or the observance, I should say, of Lent. And it was a sacrifice during that time that they gave to remember their faith. And before they gave up things during that time, they would make sure that they would eat up all of their red meats and rich foods before they were doing a fasting period. Okay. And I observed this when I was a kid. I would give up like chocolates or soda pop. So we still celebrate this to this day through Mardi Gras. And there are people from all different cultures that like to participate in Mardi Gras because it's fun. They just enjoy it. Okay, so we're going to click over. Maybe. Why are you not working? What happened? Oh no, hang on. We accidentally booted out our extra camera. Boop, boop, boop. Oh no. Oh, one moment, guys. I will be. And there. Okay, now it's all right. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get into our lesson here. So what you'll need is a what are these called? An egg carton. Now, I prefer to use the paper egg carton because if you want to use watercolor paints or markers or tempera paint, they're going to adhere to a paper egg carton a lot better. If you use a styrofoam egg carton, chances are that if you use a tempera paint, they'll start to flake off. Watercolor paints won't work. Markers maybe, especially if they're Sharpie, that would probably work. But you would have to use like an acrylic paint. So I like this. It allows me to use all the different paints. And I'm going to show you how to prepare your lesson. But like I said, we got to go do that volunteer work. So I'm going to make this lesson really, really fast. So thumb goes in the little hole, fingers go in the big hole. I'm going to go ahead and just cut down the center. And especially for my little friends that have a hard time, you might want to use both hands to squeeze, because we're just trying to cut these two pieces apart. So I have space. Squeeze, squeeze. All right. And I always left my thumb pointed up at the ceiling, right? Now, I'm going to have extra flaps that I need to get rid of. So I'm going to just cut those off. Okay, see more extra flap, cut that off. And I don't need this either. I could leave that on if I wanted to and glue decorations onto that. That would be a possibility. Or I can cut that off. Now, I want to smooth out my edge at the top and the bottom. And this is just going to give me better craftsmanship. And you guys know, or you should know if you've been working with me, that craftsmanship is how nice and neat we do our project. A craftsman was somebody who practiced their craft, whether it was bricklaying or painting, okay, stucco, whatever specialty, glasswork, any specialty that you had, you were a craftsman. You learned that craft. And if you wanted to charge more money, you would be really good at your craft. You would practice it. You would do it the nicest, the neatest, the best pristine work. And that allowed you to charge more than the next craftsman who was just learning how to do it. So if you want to be able to charge the most for your art, right, then you want to do it nice and neat and be a good craftsman. All right. So now I didn't bring my little poker doober. Oh, I had a stylus. Where did I go with it? Okay. So I do have pencil here. I hope it's sharp. Not very. All right. So you need to get a hole in your eye area. Now be careful. Don't put your finger here and then poke the pencil into your finger. You want your fingers out of the way. Okay. And I'm going to push the tip of my pencil in. All right. Do it on both sides. Be careful. If you are little, you might want to have an adult help you with that step. I am going to use my scissors again. Thumb in the little hole, fingers in the big hole, thumb pointed up. I'm going to try to trim some of this off. And don't worry, especially if you use the paper. See how I made it push out and I've got a little flap here. Cut that off. I am able to just cut off very little and be able to do this project. It doesn't have to be perfect, nice and neat. If you use one of these paper egg cartons, there is a trick. And I will show you in just a second. So any of those floppies, so just kind of trim as much as you can. And then have it stick up and just trim that off. All right. Now, here's the trick, guys. Because these are paper, I'm able to manipulate this with my finger. I'm going to push from the front of my mask through to the back and just fold it over. And just look at how it gives me a nice, smooth edge. Okay. If you find that you have any parts kind of sticking out and it's not folding over nicely, you could rip them off. You can cut them off. But really, all you should have to do is just fold those over. Just keep pressing, and it'll fold over nicely. So you see the difference? This one's not very big. It's all jaggedy. This one, just by pushing it in, I'm going to make it nice and smooth. All right. There we go. Nice. Now, we're going to talk about, you have a couple of options. You can use a stapler. You can use a hot glue gun. You can use Elmer's glue, but you're going to have to be patient. So if you use Elmer's glue to glue on your stick, you're going to have to let it sit there for a long time, probably overnight, to let it dry. I recommend the stapler version. Hot glue gun if you have an adult or adult supervision, or if they know your skills and they allow you to use a hot glue gun. But be really careful, friends, because if you burn yourself with a hot glue gun, if you run it under cold water and take it out and it still hurts, that means it's burning still inside your body, in through the different layers of skin. You have 7 layers of derma and then your tissues underneath. And if it still hurts, it's still burning. So just run it under that water, run it under the water, or put it in a cool washcloth, or with an ice cube inside the washcloth to keep it cold, so it'll stop that burning that's going on inside your skin. Okay. All right. So I can leave it like this. Now, I used hot glue on this one, and I like to use the ends of the egg carton because it gives me a little bit more of a lip to glue things to. But as you can see, I just hot glued, okay, this end. You got to let it cool down for a little bit. Don't play with it right away. It's got to harden. You got to let that hot glue cool. And the cooling process, once it's cold, that's what makes that connection solid. Okay, so I'm going to show you with a stapler. Now, this is a full-size stapler. Do not use one of those mini staplers. I don't feel like it will be strong enough. And I'm going to just line up with that little bit of extra I left on the edge. And even if you didn't leave extra, you could just, you could put it inside like this. Okay, but I left a little extra just so I could staple. And I'm literally just pressing. And amazingly enough, the staple is big enough to go all the way through a regular size popsicle stick. These are just colored popsicle sticks. You can use a plain popsicle stick, and I would do that a couple times. I would do it at the top. I would do it at the bottom. I might do it a couple times here and a couple times there. Let them crisscross, all different. Oh, that one didn't turn out very nice. Now did it? I don't like that one. All right. But if you look through, got several staples coming through. Okay. It's not going anywhere. Just do it a few times. And then we can do decorations to cover that up. Now, like I said, I'm going to make this a super short lesson. I don't have time to paint and decorate with you guys today, sadly, but I can explain. So you can use, like I said, any materials on these paper egg curtains. So I can use marker, I can use tempera, I can use watercolor. And for our littlest friends, I would probably let them just do whatever colors they want. And you can talk about things like line and shape and designs, maybe doing broken lines, polka dots, wavy lines, zigzag, all that stuff. And the traditional colors that they would use are green. Green was for faith. So believing in God, and not just believing in God, but also believing in that God is there for you. Okay. So the Lent season is celebrated in remembrance of Jesus, who went into the desert for 40 days, and he was fasting for that 40 days. So he was in a weakened state, and he was tempted by the devil, and the devil was trying to make him cheat and to use his power to eat food and drink wine. So Jesus had faith that God would see him through. Then purple is justice, because it is just and right to believe in God and believe in the power of God. And then the yellow symbolizes the power of God. So it's through the power of God that Jesus made it through that 40 days. Okay, so that's the reason why they use those colors. You can choose to use those colors. You can choose not to use those colors, and that's totally fine. Now, one of the fun things I like to do is to use pipe cleaners. Now, the pipe cleaners you can do in different ways. You could do wavy lines by just kind of rounding the lines up and down. So that's all a pipe cleaner is a three-dimensional line. So I've got wavy lines. If I push the ends and make it pointy, Now it's a what? Zigzag. You got it. So a zigzag line. All right. Or I can use, I lost my pencil already. I can use a pencil to make a curly or swirling line. Okay, so I would use pipe cleaners, I would use sequins, I would use gems, buttons, feathers, whatever you have, and glue those on there. Now, once again, you can use hot glue. You could use Elmer's glue, but you would have to set it down on your messy mat, glue it on, and then walk away and leave it in that laying down state to glue them on. Or what I really like are those double-sided craft dots. They're like these clear dots. You can find them in the scrapbooking type area or craft area. And those are instant. They stick to the project and they stick the item to the project. Shazam. Okay. And then so you can see I used loop-de-loop lines, zigzag, curly lines. I used the traditional colors, but you could do wavy, you can do all different things, pom-poms. And then ta-da. And we're let's see. And there you go. You got your Mardi Gras mask. Now that was the quickest, quick lesson that we could possibly do. I gotta go volunteer. Let's go save some animals, all right? All right, so if nobody's told you yet today, I love you. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. I really appreciate it. And I hope that you have an absolutely artastic day. All right, guys, till we see each other again, have an amazing day.